welcome back to my channel. Today I'll be doing a quick and easy full set that you can do for Christmas, fall, birthdays, and your clients will leave happy and it doesn't take very long. So as you know, I'm about to be putting in my monomer. This is our 876 monomer, and whenever you start working, you want to make sure that you have enough monomer in your dapping dish, and you want to make sure also that you completely saturate your brush. You do not want to work with a brush that's halfway wet and halfway dry. You want to make sure it's completely saturated. I'm going to pick up my first bead and I'm going to place that right where the tip and the natural nail meets, making sure that my client's hand is tilted downwards. That way, naturally, gravity is going to allow the acrylic to flow to the tip of the nail. Whenever you're applying acrylic, you always want to make sure that you keep cleaning up your sides. If the acrylic is running off to the side, you want to make sure that you keep cleaning that up. That way you keep your shape, because most times we're pre-shaping in the beginning and we want to make sure that we maintain that shape, or else that basically means that you just wasted your whole 5-10 minutes pre-shaping. So now the second bead, we're going to place that in the cuticle area. So what I'm going to do is place it above the cuticle, and then I'm going to lightly and gently tuck it back in the cuticle, making sure that the acrylic is not overflowing on the side walls. And if it does, that's okay. All I need to do is use the tip of my brush and remove it. So what I'm doing right now, I'm basically tapping the acrylic in place, making sure that the acrylic is setting up. So basically when you tap the acrylic is setting as well, and that's a way of controlling the acrylic. I'm going to place another bead right in the apex area, because I want to make sure that if my client hits her nail, it's not going to break easy. So you want to make sure that you have a very nice apex. And like I said before, what I'm going to do next, I'm going to make sure that my brush is completely saturated before I start working and before I go in my powder. If I notice that I have any excess powder, what I will do is I'll drain it in my paper towel to get all the excess monomer out. I'm sorry, if I notice that I have excess monomer, I drain it in my paper towel. Then I'm going to place the bead, and like I said, in order to control the bead, you want to make sure that you're tapping it very gentle. And if you already notice that your bead is running, do not keep going in your monomer and coming back to the bead, because that only means that the bead is going to run more. The more monomer you add to the powder is the more the acrylic is going to run. Whenever you're trying to smooth your acrylic out, you want to try to use the belly of your brush, because this is going to work the best with trying to patting and smoothing your application. So like I said before, the second bead I placed just above the cuticle, and when I'm tucking this bead back, I'm doing this very gentle and light. And also anything that goes over on in the side walls or on the skin, I use the very tip of my brush and I clean that up. You never want to leave that on the side walls, because if you do, you're going to have lifting easily, or when it's time to drill, it's going to be very hard to remove that acrylic from the skin when it dries. So make sure while the acrylic is wet, you go ahead and you clean your side walls and your cuticles. In this video, the acrylic I'm using is called which one is this? This is Gianna. So I'm using Gianna in this video. I really love this color, and honestly speaking, my clients, they're the one that's choosing this color all week. I probably used this color 4 times last week. So the client's been choosing this color. I don't know what happened, but out of nowhere they just keep coming and asking for Gianna. So if you love this color, of course every product I use will be listed in the description box, so you can head over when you're done with the video and check them out. I'm using a number 12 brush. You could use whatever size you are comfortable using, but from what I know is whatever brush you start practicing with, that's the brush you're going to more than likely prefer to use. I started out with a smaller brush and I only use small brushes. And I meet people that they have never used a small brush. They always use a big brush. So I think it's whatever you practice with, you're going to end up liking, but just pick a size and work with it. Also, in order for you to complete your acrylic application process nice and smooth, try to pick a application routine. Are you going to work with a smaller beads, or are you going to work with bigger beads? Are you going to do a 2-ball method? Are you going to do a 1-ball method? Stick with that, because if you keep switching up your routine, the process is going to take so much longer, and basically you're not going to get that. You know, when you keep doing something over and over, the same thing over and over, that's the routine you want to get into. So that's going to also help you to move faster. So that's one tip of how to finish your sets fast. You have to pick a routine and stick to it. If it's 1-ball method, 2-ball method, 3-ball method, and also making sure that you are practicing your liquid to powder ratio. So one more thing that I wanted to stress with the acrylic application, if you lay your bead and the acrylic start running, the best thing to do is use the brush and hold the acrylic in place for like 5 seconds. If you're still working the bead, tapping the acrylic seems to work so good. You see how I'm doing it right now? It's like tapping it in place nice and gentle, and then stroking it and blending it. So basically, I want you to just look at my motion and follow that. What I notice with a lot of beginners, when they are applying acrylic, they keep moving the acrylic from where the acrylic is intended to be. So let's say you pick up a bead and the bead was meant to build the apex. They place the acrylic down and then they use the brush to wipe the acrylic off. So whatever they just didn't make any sense. They just keep wasting products and they move all the product to the tip of the nail. What I want you to do is practice keeping the acrylic where the acrylic is supposed to be. So if you picked up a bead and the bead is meant to build the tip, make sure that you keep the acrylic to the tip of the nail. If you pick up your second bead and that's supposed to build your apex, keep that bead in the apex area. Stop letting that bead flow all the way to the tip of the nail, because now the tip of your nail is becoming higher and higher, and the apex you still didn't even build it because you let that acrylic flow too far to the tip of the nail. When you pick up a bead and that bead is for the cuticle area, keep the bead in the cuticle area, and then you're going to be able to finish your sets super fast like that. Keep each bead where it's supposed to and practice controlling it. Also, if you're done building your acrylic, your tip, and you notice that something is missing from the tip or the apex looks too thin, something is not adding up, don't be afraid to come back with another bead and build whatever you think needs to be built. But one more thing I'm going to tell you, if you notice that the acrylic is like you keep applying and it's just stay looking bumpy, you can't get it to be smooth, look at the structure of the nail and use your judgment. Look at it and be like, okay, is this nail thick enough? I know it might not be smooth. If it's thick enough, leave it. Don't keep adding acrylic because you're not going to get it smooth. Don't keep adding acrylic. All you need to do is just keep in mind that you're just going to have to shape it, not shape it, you're going to have to file it a little bit more attention, and you're going to have to use your drill, a little bit longer. So if you already build it's thick enough, don't keep adding. I know I'm over talking acrylic application, so I'm gonna leave the rest of that for another video. Let's just jump right in the shaping. I'm using this hand file from a local beauty supply store, and what I'm doing is I'm making sure that I keep alternating from side to side, and when I'm shaping, I'm not just shaping blindly. I'm looking at the nail, I'm making sure that whatever I'm doing, I'm doing it with a purpose. Don't just shape because it's shaping time. You have to admire the shape. Look what needs to go in. Look where it's kind of tilted. Look what's leaning a little bit. You have to like look at the nail and shape accordingly. Also, you want to make sure that you get underneath the nail as well, because sometimes you keep shaping the sides and really it's because you have acrylic hanging or the tip is hanging underneath, and that's what's reflecting on the top. So make sure whenever you're shaping, you shape underneath as well. So the shape that she's going for is she wants square but she don't want square, and she want coffin but she don't want coffin. So basically she's going for like a tapered square type of vibe. So what I'm doing is I'm just holding my hand file slightly parallel, and then I'm just shaping it, and like I'm saying, I just keep alternating, and whenever I'm filing, I file like I want to file. I want the shape to change. So sometimes we're filing and we're not putting enough pressure on the file. You want to make sure that you're applying pressure and you're stroking that nail nice and firm, like you really want to shape the nail. And when you shape, you stop and you have a look and you go again. And also when you're shaping, try not to remove all the product from the side walls of the nail. So most times some people, they have the hand file down in the side wall eating out the sides, but look at how when I place my file, it's going off to the side and not down in the side walls, because then you don't want to weaken your tip and it's going to break easy, or it's going to be obvious that you overfile the nail. And of course you want to make sure that you get the tips of the nail, making sure they're nice and sharp. I like to go up and down because I get a very sharp effect from that. So I'll see you guys when it's time to drill. I am using my number, well, not a number. I am using my medium pana bit to drill. I'm going to leave the link in the description box for this bit. I love it. They have them in coarse as well. So if you're trying to do a soak off, I usually recommend using a coarse bit for soak offs. But for when I'm just smoothing my acrylic out, I'm usually using my medium bit. So when I'm drilling, I start from the right, make my way to the left, and then I go over the surface of the nail. You want to make sure you keep your bit moving because you don't want the bit to heat up and then you're going to create friction. Your client's nail is going to start burning and stuff like that. So keep your drill moving at all times. Also, whenever you're drilling, you have to seal the nail. See how I have the bit in the back of my nail, whatever you call that, towards the cuticle. You want to make sure that you put the drill in the back and you're sealing the nail, because if you prep your nail right and if you applied your cuticle bead right, all that good stuff, if you did not seal the nail is not going to last long. So you want to make sure that you're sealing your nail properly to avoid lifting. If you're not comfortable with going as close as I am in this video, this is what I need you to be doing so you could have your clients wearing their nails for 3-4 weeks. Get in the cuticle area and get in the side walls. Okay, so tip. Let's say you're drilling and you are not yet as comfortable to get as close to the cuticle. Get as close as you can, and then after that, use your cuticle bit, that manicure bit that's very gentle and it's not going to cut them easily. When you're done filing, when you're done drilling, let's say you're done with this, you didn't get as close to seal as much as you would love. What you can do is come back in with your cuticle bit and seal the nail. Use the cuticle bit to go around your cuticle area and get in those side walls. But do not stop until you have a nice sealed nail. Basically, the nail is supposed to be nice and snug to your client's nail. You're not supposed to see any, like, when you look around the perimeters of the nail, you're not supposed to see anything raised, any raised products. Everything is supposed to be nice and tight and hugging the nail properly. So I'm going to be back again when it's time to do our design. So now for this design, what I'm going to do is I'm going to apply this top coat, then I'm going to let it cure for 60 seconds. Guys, look at this color. She was like, oh my gosh, can I wear this by itself? This is so pretty. I'm like, yes it is, but you're going to leave with your French that you came for. But the color is absolutely gorgeous, so I could see why she would want to leave with just this. And like I said, this is called Gianna. So what I'm doing, wiping the sides to keep my shape, and then I'm going to come in and do my Frenchies. So like we all know, when I do Frenchies, I start from the side, make a loop, and meet at the tip of the nail. Then I shade the sides in. I don't go and do all that extra stuff, doing a V, doing a U, all that extras. All I do is I shoot for the French in one shot. I promise you, if you do that, you are going to get so good at doing French because you're going to develop the eye for it. And also, you're going to have like the hands for it. I don't know what to say, but it's just like doing anything over and over. You eventually know how wide to go, how narrow you need it to be. Like, you start having that eye and it just starts coming naturally. So I would love for you guys to start practicing your French. Start from one side, come in the middle, go on the other side, meet that one in the middle, and then you shade it in. And don't be afraid if you see any little thing that you need to go over. Go ahead and fix the Frenchies up, making sure it's nice and sharp. And I must say, your Frenchies are not going to be super sharp when you just start, okay? I could show you Frenchies that I've been doing like a year and a half ago, and I was not this good. So what I want you to do is each French you do, you give it your best shot. You cannot spend all day trying to get one French looking good because you have 2 more clients coming after. Do your best and just know that for the next time you make notes and see what you need to do, and just keep telling yourself, this is not the best, but the more I do it is the more it's going to come, and I'm going to be better in a month time. I'm going to be able to look back and say, wow, my Frenchies came a very long way. Everything is time, everything is practice. The more you do it is the more it's going to come naturally. So that's my tip for you with French nails. And I'm using a new nail art brush. I really love this brush. I'm going to see if I could find the link in the description box, but not in the description, in my, I need to find where I purchased it. That's the number one thing I need to do. But also I'm working on some brushes as well to put in my storefront, and this brush is going to be one of them as well. So as soon as I launch those, I'm going to let you guys know. But as for right now, let's just focus on the French, get these Frenchies right. And after I'm done with this French, what I'm going to do is I'm going to let her put her hands in the light. No, I'm not going to let her put her hands in the light. That's a lie. What you need to do after you're done with your Frenchies, you're going to put the glitter on it while it's wet. While the polish is wet, you're going to apply your glitter, and then after that you're going to cure it. Then I'm going to dust it off, and then I'll see you at the end. So basically, add the glitter to the wet polish, then let them cure for 60 seconds, and then we're going to dust it off. I have a tip for you. Whenever you apply the top coat to your client's nail, please make sure that the top coat cured properly before you apply the glitter, because you do not want that glitter to stick to the top coat. When you come in with your duster to dust the glitter off, the excess glitter, you want to make sure you can see your French nice and sharp. So whenever they cure the top coat, make sure that top coat dries for 60 seconds. That way we don't have glitter sticking on it. And then, of course, like I said, draw the French, add the glitter, then cure again. Then when you dust that off, you're going to see your Frenchies looking nice and sharp, because the glitter did not stick to that clear nude part, because that's already cured properly and it just